Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to check the Radiolink T8S 8 channels radio remote controller. In this video I'm going to go over its features and specs, show you how to set it up, and then head outdoors and test it out. In terms of packaging, inside the box along with the remote controller you can find a USB to micro USB cable, which is used for charging the internal battery of the remote controller and also for configuring it. In addition, you are also getting these OTG adapters that are used for configuring the remote controller using the Android app. These parts that will enable you to convert the remote controller from the default mode 2 to mode 1, and this pretty small radio receiver that supports both SBUS and PPM. The Radiolink T8S remote controller, just like its name implies, supports 8 channels. It features an internal 1S 800 mAh LiPo battery that should provide you with about 5 hours of working time. Charging the internal battery is done via a micro USB port, which is also used for configuring the remote controller either using the Android app or PC software. Unfortunately, it does not support flight simulators, so you won't be able to plug the remote controller to your computer and use it as a game controller. Turning on the remote controller is done by short pressing the power button. Then it's going to power up, and over here you can see an indication for the battery status. In order to turn off the remote controller, you will need to long press the power button. Unlike the Hobby Porter WT8, which I've recently reviewed, the Radiolink T8S features high quality gimbals. These are not Hall sensor gimbals, but they feel very precise and they feel much closer to the gimbals of the FHSS Xlite than to the gimbals of the Hobby Porter WT8. The stick ends of the gimbals are removable and they are using 3mm threads. In case you are a thumber, you can simply use the included stick ends. However, if you are a pincher like me, I recommend to use these type of stick ends as they are going to give you a better control. Next to the gimbals you can find the trim buttons, and a shorter beeping sound is going to indicate that the trim has been recentered. As I mentioned before, this remote controller supports 8 channels. By default, channel number 1 is the aileron, channel number 2 is the elevator, channel number 3 is the throttle, and channel number 4 is the rudder. The other 4 channels can be found on the top side of the remote controller. Both channel number 5 and channel number 7 are 3-position switches, channel number 8 is a rotatable dial, and channel number 6 is a momentary switch. Now as you can see, the Radiolink T8S does not feature a screen, so in order to configure it, you can use either the PC or the Android app. The Android app will only enable you to configure the remote controller, and the PC software will also enable you to upgrade its firmware. Now using the provided USB-C OTG adapter, I'm going to plug the T8S to my Android device. I've already downloaded and installed the dedicated app, so now I'm only going to open it up. As you can see, when the device is successfully connected, a notification is going to be shown, and now using these 4 tabs you can configure the remote controller. So for example, you can reverse the channels, and you can also define the auxiliary switches, and etc. When you're done configuring the remote controller, you need to press the right button, and then the configuration is going to be saved. In order to enter gimbal calibration mode, you will need to point the sticks towards the middle and power the remote controller while holding the left yaw trim button. Then these LEDs are going to flash, and in order to calibrate the gimbals, just move them around, put everything at mid position, and press the right yaw trim button. You're going to hear a double beep, which is going to indicate that the gimbals have been calibrated. By default, the R8EF receiver, which is bundled with the T8S, is already bound to the remote controller. However, if you wish to bind more receivers, you will need to turn on the receiver, then long press the ID set button for about a second. The LED over here is going to flash, and then turn on the remote controller. Now the LED over here is solid, and the receiver was bound successfully. After binding the receiver, make sure that everything works properly, define your modes, and you'll be ready to go. The next thing that I've done is to head outdoors and test the Radiolink T8S using the included R8EF receiver. Unfortunately, I had some issues with the GPS and VTX, which are of course unrelated to the remote controller. However, I can still estimate that the range of this receiver is about 1 kilometer. Overall, after testing this product, I can tell you that I'm really impressed with its quality and its highlight is definitely the gimbals, which feel great and are very accurate. In addition, the switches are very convenient, and the built-in battery with a micro USB charge port is a great feature. Now, if we compare the T8S with the WT8, I think that the only advantage that the WT8 has over the T8S is that it supports FrSky D8 receivers, and unfortunately the Radiolink T8S only supports Radiolink receivers. I think that if Radiolink can integrate a multi-protocol transmission module to this radio controller, they won't be able to meet the demand, and this product is just going to sell like crazy. Having said that, I think that still at the current situation, priced at around $50 for a good remote controller and a radio receiver, this is a great deal. And if you are in the market for a gamepad style remote controller, you should definitely check it out. Now I'm going to share the flight footage, and as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you like this video, and consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notifications bell if you're not already subscribed. See you in my next videos, and goodbye.
That life and now we're